Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful Divine Waves bracelet. This was designed by Emily Looms 2025 on Instagram. So as always, I will have her name linked right here, and then you can find her profile down below if you want to check her out on there. I think she did a wonderful job. It's beautiful. You can make this with beads or without. So if you don't have them, it will look like that, which I still love as well. And there's nothing different you have to do for either version. So that's really nice. I am only going to be doing a version where it's a small piece. I'm not going to actually show how to do the extension. I'll have a video below if you don't know how to do that. So for today, you will need 110 bands, and that does include approximately 25 extension bands. You'll need 30 of the blue, 22 of the navy blue jelly, 22 of the white, and 11 of the pink in the middle. You will also need 6 beads if you're using them and 1 C-clip. So for now, let's get that stuff together, and then I'm going to show you guys the loom setup. To make this bracelet, you need to have at least 4 bars wide. If you want a longer bracelet, just connect another 4 in front of it. You'll need those long blue bases to connect them together. But I'm going to just use these 4, and you do want to make sure you have it set up like mine. So the middle 2 are going to be aligned, and then the inner ones go inwards. So just do it like that. So the first thing we're going to do is choose the first color that I call the border, and that is this blue on the side here. I'm doing this exact bracelet today, by the way, for the colors. So we're going to start by grabbing one of those. We're going to lay it across the top 2, and that's going to be for closing it. And then we're going to go diagonal to the left and right. And then we're going to go straight on the sides. Keep that color close by, but now we're going to choose another color. And that is going to be the navy blue. We're going to do a long diagonal stretch for this part. So from the middle pin here, we're going to do a long diagonal stretch up to the outer pin out here, the second one up. And then do the same on the left. Keep that color close by as well, because we're going to be laying all of these colors. We're going to just keep alternating, but we're going to now choose the white. And we're going to do a short diagonal. So from the corner pins, we're going to lay a diagonal, and it's just going to cross over the blue. We're going to go back to our first color, which is my light blue. And we're going to lay going straight on the sides. You may need to keep pushing them down as you go along. We'll go to our second color, which is my navy blue. Where the white ends in the middle, we're going to do a long diagonal stretch up to the outsides. And then we will do our short diagonal whites. And that crosses in the opposite direction. Sorry, I think that was my printer. So I just went and checked. It turns out it wasn't my printer. It was like a backup safety thing for if you ever lose power, the battery's dying. Alrighty, so we're going to go back to our first color. We will lay it straight. We will do our long diagonal stretch. And our short diagonal stretch with the white. We're going to keep alternating these 3 colors. Regardless of how many looms you're using, everything that we do is going to be the same. The only difference is when we go to start looping. If you're using beads, if you use one loom setup, we're going to have a bead at the end of our loom down here on the second row. And if you use 2 looms, your bead will not be on that pin, it will be on this one. But we don't do any different looping whether you have a bead on that pin or not, so it does not make a difference. I will explain that more when we get to that part, but the reason I was bringing that up is to say you're going to do the same thing that I'm doing regardless of how many looms you're using. You're just going to go further down the loom. So for 2 loom sets, I lay a total of 24 straight ones. Whoops, look, I'm talking, I almost laid it the wrong way. 24 straight ones, and I'm referring to these blue on the side. So once I have 24 of those, then I bring it inwards to the center. For this loom setup, I lay 11. So let's continue getting these laid until we get that many, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I'm at the end of my loom. Once you're caught up, make sure it looks like this. We're going to lay our last bands coming into the center. It should connect to the very last pins in the middle at the end of the row like that. Our looms will look identical regardless of the loom length that you did. So we are going to come to the beginning. You may want to take a second and push those down. We're going to lay our last color band, which is going to be the pink that sits in the middle. This is also where we add the beads. So you will want to have your skinny hook or whatever hook you use to add beads on. We're going to be laying a horizontal band in the center. So we're not going to do anything on the very first row. Come up to the second, and that's where our first one's going to go with a bead on it. So get your hook, load your bead on. I'm just using one of these little hooks from Rainbow Loom. It's from one of their kits. I slide the bead on, and then I bring it over to the loom. On the next pin in the center, we just lay a regular band without a bead. And then the next one, we add a bead. So we do it to every other row. If you do every row, they don't fit. It's way too smushed. If you're not using beads, you just lay a regular one all the way up. So go ahead and keep alternating, getting those laid, and then I will show you what we're going to do next. So you'll be laying yours still. I just want to show you what it will look like afterwards, how every other one is beaded. So what I was saying earlier down here, see how we're going to start looming out of that row there. The one in front of it has a bead. If you used 2 loom lengths, your bead won't be sitting there. It will be on this one. It just ends on a different pin. It does not matter. It doesn't change the looping at all. You'll be able to follow me 100% still. So at this point, we do need to grab 2 more of our very first color, which is my blue here. And we do need to lay a straight band down here on the second to last pin, connecting it to the last pin like that. Once you do that, you can turn your loom around. We're going to grab 1 more of that same color to make a cat band. I wrap it around 1 pin down here. And then I will use my hook to stretch it over. Like that. And now we are ready to start looping. So to start, we're going to go in the cat band. We're going to loop those straight bands that we laid last. They're just going to go back to themselves. We'll come back into the cat band and loop the bottom row out. So the right goes to the right and the left to the left. Just back to themselves. Now we're going to loop the long diagonal below. They are not going back to themselves. They're going to come to the center. So this left one here, you're grabbing that very long jelly blue, bringing it right here to the middle. Push them down so it makes it easier to apply it. Everything you do on the left, you have to do on the right. And for this design, we don't just do like one thing and then come back and do the next. We loop the entire thing in steps. So after you do the blue, we're going to come to the border and we're going to loop that straight. We're going to come to the middle and we need to loop that pink horizontal bead or band. Mine has a bead on it. But whether you have a bead or not, we're going to do the same thing right here. You're technically grabbing the third band down, but there's only 1 band facing you that you have to move technically. So I'm grabbing my pink, which is that horizontal band, and you're going to loop it up to the pin above it. You're going to do the same thing on the left side. We're going to back up again, same pin, and we're going to loop the white out. This white diagonal band will go back to itself, which goes to the outer pins. So we're going to do that whole thing all over again. The first step is going to be looping the diagonal blue. So the diagonal blue will come into the center, to the closest pin that's in the center. Make sure you do both sides. We're going to do the border next. And that just goes straight. We're going to come to the middle and do the horizontal. Same thing as we did before. You can just see the band more since there's not a bead on this one. You're grabbing that horizontal pink and looping it to the pin above it. Go into the same pins we were just working on and loop the white back to itself. It's the only band that's left in there. We're going to start that again. So we'll start with our long diagonal blue and bring it into the center. I'm going to lay my loom down. We're going to come to the sides and loop the border up. And now we're going to come to the middle. We will do the pink horizontal band, looping it up to the pin above. And then we'll go back into the same pin and loop the white out. Our last band that's on that pin goes diagonally out. So we're just going to keep alternating, but what is that, 3 steps? I think it is, or 4. I think it's 4 steps. So the first step is looping our long diagonal band into the middle. Our second step is looping up the border. Our third step is looping the horizontal pink to the pin above. And our fourth step is going back into that pin and looping the diagonal white out. So keep following along with me until we get this all looped out. I don't think this is a very hard design. There's just an order that you have to make sure you follow. My son was using my tripod last night. I couldn't seem to get it back. It's kind of hard to get the tripod at the exact correct angle. You guys probably don't notice it, but I'll mess with it a long time before I start hitting record. But he was using it last night, and it was all out of whack. Not sitting right. I don't know why I keep losing my voice lately. But anyway, I think I got it right. Okay, so I'm at the top of my loom. When you reach the top and you've looped your last white diagonals out, we have this last border band here to loop. So at the corners, you're just going to grab the bottom band and bring it into the center. and that finishes the bracelet off so it doesn't fall apart. So after you do that, we're going to reach into this top pin, grab that single band that's down there and bring both ends together. That's for our C-clip, but we do need to make an extension. So if you're doing one, you're going to temporarily C-clip it or slide it onto your hook and then take it off of the loom. I'm not going to make an extension today, but if you want to make one, I will, or if you don't know how to make one, I will put a video down in the description box below, and you can go to the end of that video and see how I make one. You can either use the auto loom or 2 pins or even your hook. I think a fishtail looks the best. But that is it, you guys. That is how you create the Divine Waves bracelet, created by Emily Looms 2025 on Instagram. I think she did a beautiful job on this. Don't forget to tag her and myself if you make one. We would love to see your renditions. That will be it for today, you guys. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you really soon at my next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.